What's up, everybody? Welcome Monster here, along with Stevie V. Welcome to Why the Fascination. Wouldn't be us if it wasn't a fucking disaster. I'm hoping you guys can hear us. Yeah, I went to move the microphone and it unplugged itself. Just gotta make sure it's still plugged in.
I'm hoping everybody can hear us.
Good to see everybody. What's up, guys?
Jim, give 2 thumbs up.
Gate Smasher, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Hey, Helton. What's going on, Jim? Miss Sharon Guy. It's always a pleasure.
Breeze, good to see you.
What's up, Breeze? Christy, how are you?
Judy.
Hey, Judy. Hey, Sharon.
Michelle Powell.
Miss Sandra Piper. Oh, they're just piling in.
That's awesome.
Hey, Michelle.
Christy, good to see you.
Might as well do this early.
You should.
See.
Wow, imagine that.
Who else is here? I think we got everybody. Think.
See, it's funny because I think I was ready this time.
If I ever get to the bottom. Well, no, he saw what had happened. I pulled the microphone and it said, you're disconnected. I'm like, ah, crap.
I was ready for once.
Yeah, you were. I was surprised.
I didn't do anything. I just flopped my butt down and waited.
So as you guys know, what we do is we'll put the link in chat, like right now. And anybody can click on that link, come hang out. Hey, Claude, how are you?
Claude.
You got something you want to talk about? Just feel like chilling. Don't feel like typing, Jim. Or, I'll put that, I put the link in chat. If you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be on camera. Bottom of the screen says stop camera. Just click on that. You don't have to be on camera. It's pretty simple. I do ask is that you turn off YouTube when you do click on StreamYard, because otherwise we get a nasty echo.
Thank you. The lunar eclipse is tonight.
Yeah, it is. What time is it though?
Claude said he was going to bed early so he could get up and photograph it, but it is cloudy where he is.
Oh no, it's bright as it's clear as a bell here. I mean, if that makes sense.
No, I'm like, wait, what?
Clear as a bell. I can hear you. Clear as a bell.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to get some pictures of it. I mean, it's supposed to be like orange.
No, I'm gonna have to Google it.
What time is the lunar eclipse?
Mm-hmm.
Geez, Sandra, fighting strep throat and shingles.
Oh no.
Jeez, prayers to you. I mean, that's brutal.
Oh, I'm gonna say an extra prayer for you.
Jim says it starts around 1 a.m. Right on. He says our time, but I mean, he said hour. HOUR.
Well, it's fitting.
If it was a pun, it was funny.
I'm saying it's fitting. For sure.
137, Breeze says by him. Right on. No, I'll definitely stay up and check that out.
Let's see.
I'll get your my new camera up on the tripod and take some cool pictures.
Partial solar. Is it? No. What is that?
Harold says they're going live tonight at 11 after this.
Oh, very cool.
Right on. I'm guessing you're going to be outside filming the eclipse. Jim says autocorrect got me again. Auto incorrect, he said.
but it was fitting.
Excuse me.
I was gonna say,
Well, they were in a weird spot. I couldn't even like kick them
I-
to the side because if I
did like
bent
that.
down, I would have whacked my head on my
oh,
computer.
yeah.
So, what's new?
Nothing.
No, I mean, like, what's happened in 2 days? Let's
Nothing.
see.
Nothing. I've been working. It's my busy season still. This is the busiest week, so it's exhausting. Pretty tired.
Yeah, this is a busy week for you, huh?
Oh god, yeah.
Spring break.
Well, it doesn't help that there's only 3 full-time employees in the office. I'm one of 3. The other 2 are out. So it's
Yeah,
been a
it
week.
wasn't a brilliant scheduling.
Well, one couldn't be helped. The other probably could have waited. But what are you gonna do? Just handle it and move on to the next day.
Thank you, Claude.
Began at 11:57 p.m. Thursday and 6 a.m. Friday, with the peak viewing time around 3 a.m. That's in Florida, Tallahassee as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've got clear skies, so we're good there. Hopefully, it stays that way.
And they're calling it a rare blood moon.
Michelle says, anyone coming to the Bigfoot Encounters Conference in Jonesboro, Georgia this Saturday? I am not. Although that would something to keep in mind. Is it Georgia conferences? Well, I think to check out different, conferences.
I was gonna say this Saturday, no.
No. April 5th is the
Florida conference.
Florida conference. I guess it's their 4th one.
Yes.
5th one.
Wow.
I don't know.
4th.
Is
it? Shit.
I'm
Every year I second guess.
Yeah,
what year
me
it
too. Like I'm always off a year. But April 5th, we're going to go check that out. We'll do the Florida conference this year. We went to the Alabama conference last year instead of the Florida conference because it's on the same weekend.
On the same weekend. There was a lot going on that weekend.
Yeah. Jamie, how are you? Hey, Karen. She says, I rearranged for about the 4th time this week. Got my treadmill together so I could finally use it.
Really?
Good for you.
I used to have a
I thought
treadmill.
about getting a treadmill
I had one
for the dog.
for a long time. It ended up being a clothing rack.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
Just any.
I mean, I did use it for a while, but then it became a clothing rack.
Sure. Anything with a handle or, it's like flat surface syndrome, I call it.
Yeah.
If you have a flat surface, chances are there's shit all over
Yes.
it.
True story.
Empty chair syndrome. Just pile shit on it. And there's shit. It's shit that has a place. Like
5th annual. Sorry.
5th annual.
Yes.
Which one? I don't.
You went to the first one. I went to the second one. We both went to the third one. Last year we went to Alabama instead.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
Yes.
Almost had to break out the toes there. Carry the pinky toe and what? How much clothes does your treadmill hang?
A lot.
If you use hangers,
right?
That usually it's just a drape method.
Yes.
He says I use mine rigorously when it's running. It's been a while since we've been in the RV. Finally got it back together. Right on. Yeah, I'd like to find inexpensive one that I can let her
Yeah.
run on or walk on or just get
She's
exercise.
gonna run from it.
No, I think,
I
you know,
I'm just kidding.
I can MacGyver anything, you know.
I know. I mean, they're easy for dogs to use.
Just two leashes on, you know, one
Yeah.
on each side and turn the thing on, see what happens. It's the worst that can happen.
She'll walk.
She goes for a drag. I mean,
She'll walk.
Blackie, what's up? Good to see you. Paradox, how you doing?
Polly. How you doing, Polly?
What's up, Paulie? His name throws me off because I work in the town of Tavares.
I know.
but here they pronounce it Tavares.
Tavares.
Tavares, yeah. Their coming bike is the clothes hanger. Jim says Marion, North Carolina has a Bigfoot festival in August. Might go to that. August, that's far enough away. Where is Marion though? Is it like Charlotte area or is it up in the Triangle? Is it, you know?
I have to look.
I want to go to an outdoor festival. You know?
Yeah.
Picture like what just George Fest, but all Bigfoot. That'd be awesome.
Right.
Karen says we're going to Phenomicon in Utah in September. And it's in Vernal, Utah. I don't know if I want to start going down other rabbit holes. You know.
I said it'd be cool.
But a Phenomicon, if you know, or I don't know, or paranormal. I don't know what that, you know, like what. I'll have to look it up. What goes on there? What's the whatever?
Sorry, I was reading something.
Karen says Bigfoot, UFOs, all sorts of stuff. Okay. By Skinwalker Ranch. Oh, right on. Yeah, Jim, Utah would be cool, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Hang out with the Mormons.
You had to go there.
I know. I have a friend in Utah I want to go see. You know?
Okay.
So I would definitely go there. One of my mods.
Oh, yeah. Paul said headed for. Paulie said, "Oh, I can't even read. Good Lord, headed for surgery tomorrow.
Long overdue. Maybe playing guitar again.
Right on. Well,
What do you have?
everything
Carpal
goes-
tunnel or something, dude?
Prayers, everything goes well.
Yeah.
Quick recovery.
Right on, man.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm just reading. Jamie says, I'm hoping to get out to the, I can't pronounce that, Kootenai? Yeah, Kootenai Mountains in British Columbia for a month. That would be cool, too. I should just do what I really want to do and go to fucking Alaska.
Right.
instead of like thinking about what everybody else is doing. Go up and see wait for the summer and go up and see Jackie.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Dreaded tunnel. Yeah, she's got carpal tunnel. Yeah, they've come so far with that surgery. It's not funny. You know,
Oh, I know.
just go out, clean that,
Becomes so
yeah,
routine.
yeah. Both is beautiful, but not around Vernal. To be honest, it's mostly Moab and South and West, and it's amazing area. Bryce is my favorite. Bryce Canyon. Well, yeah, Utah's got shit. Bryce Canyon, Arches. There's 3 others. What the hell's up there? Where's Angel's Landing? That's in
Oh, I don't.
Zion. No. Caucasian Sasquatch, what's happening, dude? Good to see you.
Right.
Yeah, Utah's got a lot of nice national monuments, parks. And what is there? Isn't it it's Great Salt Lake? That's in Utah. That's up in up that way. Yeah, that's drying up. Believe it or not, where it was. Let me post that link in chat. You guys want to click on that link? Come hang out. Got something you want to talk about? Bring it. What else? It's kind of boring around here. Fishing sucks. Well, I mean, I caught a couple at work today, but they were just dinks, small ones. Dude, where's Michael? I want Haywood to show up. I want to talk to him about that fish he sent me a picture of.
Bucket size.
He sent me a picture of a black crappie. It's on a 5-gallon bucket. Bucket's on its side, and that crappie's mouth is at the lip of the bucket, and the tail is at the bottom of the bucket. So that's got to be a 3-pound, or it's 2.5 pound, 3-pound crappie easily. What's up, Sparky? Anything you want to talk about? Here's the link. Click it. Come talk. No, Sparky's got a channel now. I don't know how long he's been out, but he was on with I think it was who was I just on recently? Been hanging out with Tex. Oh, right on, Judy. Judy says, I hope to travel now that I'm not on the nebulizer and oxygen, and I hope it stays that way.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
That is awesome.
Greetings, Danny. That's good to hear, Judy. You know, I worry about you. Oh, I worry about you too. I worry about a lot. Without like killing myself with worry. Yeah. Look at this is what I was talking about. This is a 5-gallon bucket. No, it's upside down, but you still see where the lip is and see where the bottom of that fish is. That's crazy. That's huge. Clarky, what's happening?
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Doing pretty good. That
Yeah,
crappie is huge, by the way. Holy crap.
Oh, I know, right?
That's a monster.
That is a fucking monster.
That's like 3 people's meal right there.
Easy.
Nope, just mine.
I believe it too. No, like
No, I can eat some
I
coffee.
I was catching crappie the other day and I was throwing them back and I was like, I should keep some of these. And of course, once I say that, I kind of stop catching them.
Yeah, I'm
But
like,
then-
what? Wait,
But then I
what?
decide to catch one. I'm like, oh, you know what? I filled up the live well in the boat and I threw it in there. And I just
He sends me a message. He said, I caught 2. I said, catch 2 more. We got dinner.
I only caught 3 and I was like, I know this isn't enough for us.
No.
It sounds terrible, but so I ended up letting them go and we had probably hamburgers or something.
Well, yeah, because crappies are usually like that, They're not that big.
We
Normally.
get I've caught like 1 3/4 crappies here. I think
Really?
the biggest one I caught today was maybe 13 inches.
That's good size.
Yeah, it was.
13, 14. Well, last year.
Oh, last year
Yeah,
we caught a lot in the backyard
just right
here,
outside the house.
and they took out all the lily pads, so it
Oh.
eliminated the crappie fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could
They
sit
have
out
no
here.
place to hide and
No, and spawn. They spawn in the weeds.
Mhm.
So it's been really sporadic here. So I catch them at work. I work on another lake. I work for a boat club, so I have access to the boats and shit and
Nice.
fishing. Yeah. Danny is right. It's 3.83 pounds is the Florida state record for the black crappie.
Wow.
But that one, Danny, is in North Carolina that picture is from.
Right.
And I don't know what the record is up there. I think the tilapia, what was that? 9.89 pounds or something. I caught a tilapia out here. I foul hooked it by accident.
Drug them all over the lake.
I was in my kayak. And this thing, I was on a micro light pole and 8-pound test. This thing is over 5, 6, 7 pounds easy. It's
Yeah.
and it's just, I hooked it in the dorsal fin. So this thing just dragged me everywhere.
Yeah. He's like, I have free reign. You don't have my head. I go wherever I want.
Yeah, I felt like Santa in a sleigh just getting whooped around. Then he got in the weeds and got all hung up, and then I could finally get out, get him up.
Every once in a while I fly fish, and every once in a while I get like a really big trout. And it's just like, oh God, this is gonna be like an hour.
Where
You just
are
play
you,
with them until they get
located?
tired.
Where are
What's
you
that?
at?
Idaho.
Oh, right on.
So I'm up midway up Idaho, so I'm in the Rocky Mountains there.
Yeah, you've got some really good trout streams up there.
Yeah, we have trophy lakes up here, which are really fun because they're barbless, and you can't keep anything under is 21 inches, I think, for trout.
So is it a slot fish, or is it just that's the minimum is you have to keep or you keep over 21? Okay.
You keep over 21. So yeah, you have to hike into them. They're in the outback, but oh yeah, they're fun.
People don't realize is a 21 inch trout is a big trout.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's a day. You hook one of those and you're sitting down for a while.
I was up in Wisconsin and we were fishing this world-class stream. It's called the Rush River. And that's what we were catching was 21, 22, squeak at 23 in there. But that was just an amazing day.
Yeah.
And we were spinning, using spinning rods.
Yeah, I just fly fish. I'm
not a fly fisherman.
I reel with my wife. She loves to fish, so we'll go down the lake and we'll do that. But normally when I go out, I fly fish. That's the only thing I do.
Right on. No, that's
cool.
That's awesome. I have some fly equipment. I'm not a fly fisherman.
It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah. No, I last time I attempted it was on the Colorado River. And
okay.
Yeah, and it was from shore. Me and my dad were camping up at Horseshoe Bend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you'll see the pictures of Horseshoe Bend people take from the top. They stand up there on top and you'll see like the horseshoe. Well, right across the bottom there's a beach, and that's where we camped. Just up a little bit. And we fished, we floated that. My dad brought his it's like 2 pontoons and it's a single person pontoon boat. And he floated that, and I was in the Illum, whatever it was. I forget what we had.
We call that like beer trolling, because you're in a floaty, you have a beer, and your fish pulls out that side just trolling.
Yeah, he was 76 when he did that.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a good time.
So what was the main topic for today? Are you're just going
no,
live and see where it goes?
We never have a topic.
It's whatever. That's why I put the link in chat so anybody can come on. You got something you want to talk about? Bring it. We're just, we've doing this for 5 years. The same thing.
Every Tuesday and Thursday.
2 hours a night. It's we're consistent.
Yeah, right.
Are you talking about mountain lions in the chat?
Little old mountain man.
Oh, mountain man.
If I missed anybody, apologize in chat.
And hey to everybody I don't know.
So tell us about your channel.
Oh, it's just, I started it beginning of the year, I think. And I really haven't got a lot on it. I went down to the TB hospital here in Idaho with my son. And that was an amazing time. That place is crazy. I mean, there's a little bit going on and off visually, but not a lot. But the EVPs are just like nonstop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was nuts. And you'll get like vocals, like going up in the attic. Every time I went around this one corner off the stairs going to the attic, I always had a guy say, "Hey, over here." Like every time I went up there. Really odd. And but we got a lot of great EVPs off of that. I went down a couple times with that group that I went down with the first time with my son, even more. And then I end up starting my own stuff up where I live, because it's a 3.5 hour drive to the TB hospital. And that's where they normally go. So I'm doing stuff around my local area. And so I don't have a lot on my channel. It's more just BS and country life and whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
So what got you into investigating paranormal?
That's a story.
Well, it's experiences.
Yeah. So like when I was pretty small, I ended up going out with my grandfather a lot in the woods, and he was more into like Native American kind of thing. And
Okay.
so by like 6, I was going out with him. He would take me to archery things and stuff like that, and he taught me how to be a woodsman. And so the more he took me out, the more I kept on hearing more and more stuff. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's just the woods. And then at one point I was like, I hear people talking. And he was like, yeah, that's just the woods, which started me kind of going, what is all out there? And then as I got older, my other grandfather had a big place, and there was a old house on his property, and there was weird stuff happening there. And so I was always intrigued by it, but I really didn't get like, it's freaking real. Like I had conversations with my grandfather, like people are like saying my name, and he's like, it's fine, just don't go to him. They're just saying hi. But when I was in law enforcement, that's when I had to go a couple places where now I know it's real. Like I have a story. I almost shot my partner because something came up that was so real. I drew my gun. It kind of went from there on, and I just got more interested into it. And then Bigfoot's the same way. Because my dad was also I'm 3rd generation law enforcement. So
I would have been 4th generation.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. But I didn't go that route.
My dad did a search and rescue. So he was ahead of it, and they didn't have enough members. So he grabbed me and my brother, like when we were 10, and said, well, you're coming up and you're driving snowmobiles and you're hauling gear. And so I started hearing stories of people were pulling out of the woods from a very young age of the Bigfoot, what they described as a very large, bear, hairy dude, scaring the bejesus out of them. And as I got older, then I ended up hearing them. And then I had like trees broke, in trails where I was going to, and just rocks thrown at me and everything else. So it just kind of like, from my childhood, it kind of like just started. And then as I got older and I started doing more search or first responder stuff. So I was an EMT, volunteer EMT, volunteer fire department. I was 3 groups of search and rescue, volunteer, and I was a law enforcement officer, and I was a vet. So I kind of have like a big aspect of like when things get crazy, like how people react.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just been a long journey of learning where people are coming from and hearing stories. And then also I was the type I'd go out for like 30 days at a time, in the woods, and then come back. And so you're out there for that long, you end up seeing stuff, you hear stuff you can't explain.
Now, are you still on the job?
No, I am disabled now. 15 years in.
Okay.
So.
Well, thanks for your service, man.
Right.
And all of it.
And
The whole first responder thing, everything.
It was a pleasure helping my community.
Right on, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hung out with those people. I did. A lot of cops, just the way it was. I knew everybody on the ambulance corps, and I worked in the hospital, and
And we all have weird sense of humors.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the paranormal stuff always intrigued me, and finally after I got disabled in like 2005.
Was this on the job?
No, it was actually my PD shut down, and then we moved, and I had to get a job because we bought a house as an electrician, and I got fried in a sign.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
jeez.
So yeah, I melted down 3 9,000 volt transformers.
Well,
I'm
that's
just happy I'm here.
hilarious that his name is Sparky. I'm sorry.
Now you know why. That's exactly why.
I'm
We
sorry.
just lost her for the rest of the night. She's gonna be giggling all
Oh
night.
my Lord. No,
Everybody
you know,
goes.
I work.
You're an electrician. I'm like, yeah, I was an electrician.
I work in parks and for the local county and been there 20 years. We have the lightning detection system, and that's what I nicknamed it. It was Sparky. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw your name.
Yeah, I haven't had any Bigfoot encounters, UFO, but paranormal I've dealt with at certain times in my life. Some weird shit has happened, and usually there's witnesses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've plus I don't know what to even call it. What do you call it?
What?
My sixth sense or
Oh, he's
Oh,
very
yeah.
intuitive and very.
I call that in tune. So you
Yeah.
have like mediums, you have psychics, and then there's people that are just in tune.
Yes.
You know?
And that is them for sure. I mean, we can have full-on conversations without saying a word. I'll think something. We haven't spoken a word in an hour or longer, and I just random thought of mine, and he's in another part of the house and says it. I'm like, shut the hell up.
Yeah,
Get
many
out of my
times
way.
I know I hit the nerve where it's shut up
Just shut up.
Yeah.
because I could
Yep.
say something or bring something up and she's like,
And it's the most random shit. I mean, I could be thinking about it for just a few seconds,
and it's not just
and he
with
just
her. I've
blurts
done
it
it
out.
for years. It's just weird. I can't control it. It just happens, you know.
Well, I think a lot of people are gifted by that. And if you open yourself up to it, it just blossoms and it grows, you know, and the more you do it, the more it just expands.
He doesn't
Well,
do it on purpose.
no,
That's
well,
the
like-
thing.
About 5 years ago, I made friends with somebody, and the whole purpose was to
work on it,
to
and
work
test
to
it.
test it out,
Yeah.
because I noticed a connection through chat, and I was like, hey,
Oh,
yeah, there was definitely something going on in chat, and it was like weird. So I said, let's explore this, and we started talking a lot. We were 500 miles apart, but she could send me images and I would receive them, like, mentally.
oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and some weird shit happened. Like, we'd freak each other out, you know.
That's beyond being in tune. Okay. That's beyond that.
But it was just, it happened a few times because we didn't pursue it, you know, as much as I wanted to.
Excuse me.
But it's definitely, there's definitely something going on there, you know.
Yeah.
I tell him all the time.
Michael
but
Haywood, what's up?
I wonder how often he's picking up on my thoughts and he just doesn't say it out loud, you know.
But not even knowing it. But
I mean, I'm at work and
I don't know
randomly-
that I'm picking up her thoughts.
randomly he'll text me something that I just thought about, and I'm at work. We're not even in the same space.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm having my son go grab my pizza out of the oven before it burns.
Like with me, I have a sensitivity to people's energy. I can talk to somebody and generally tell if they're a good person or
Either
not.
you like her or she don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's only failed me once, and the one time it was we don't even want to talk about that. It was bad, but I learned from that, honestly. But yeah, one of my daughters used to call it our superpower because
Oh, just in
she's the
case,
same
just
way.
in case you don't know, we are sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
I figured that out. Yep. Well, I find, you know, either people have the gift for that, for like sizing somebody up really quick, or it's from experience where they learn how to do that. It's one or the other. And that's why, you know, street smart things, it's either like you're just born with it, which is a really good thing to have, by the way.
Yeah, it's exhausting though, because I can be around negative energy and I feel like I absorb it.
It's more like an empath.
It drains me. It does. I haven't quite figured out how to shut it off. I can distract myself from it, but yeah, if I'm around somebody that is just
Negative.
in negative mode, it's exhausting to me. It does. It drains me. to where I'll get a headache. I just want to lay down and
Wow.
take a nap, remove myself. But it's a thing for positive energy, you know. I pick up on that just as easily too.
Mr. Haywood, did you weigh that crappie?
Mhm.
Please tell me you weighed it. I put my guess in.
You're like 6
2.5
pounds.
Yeah, right. Good shit.
I mean, it's the length of the bucket or the
Could be
height.
4, and I think it's between 2.5 and
I say 3.5.
3.5. Between
Three.
that
Around
pound and
3.
a pound.
They're always hard to judge because they're so wide but thin. But I would say at least 3 pounds.
Well, he's getting them. They're spawning where he's at right now. I think they should be. They should be fat. Females probably have a lot of eggs.
1 pound, 3/4.
3/4. That's it. Shit, I think the one I caught
Pound
without a
3/4.
tail was heavier than that today.
Well, you cut that one down at the.
Dude, that thing was
Oh, yeah.
huge. Well, let me find out it was only a 2-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
One of those half buckets.
Yeah.
Let me look at that picture again.
That's when he takes the photo of the fish like this, where they're holding the camera right next to the fish.
Yeah.
Forced perspective, yeah. That's a long ass. That's a big ass fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pound and 3/4. You caught
So what's
one
kinda
of
some of the
them size
paranormal
on the marina,
stuff?
right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
So what's kind of the paranormal stuff you guys have had, like visually or audio?
I've had visual, but not like apparitions. I've seen an orb in a house. I was sleeping in. I was living in a house where the people, the former owners of it, were murdered in it.
Oh,
And I knew them, and I knew the family, but she needed somebody to look after the house for a while, so I moved in, and some weird shit went on. But I was sleeping in the master bedroom in their bed, and woke up one morning, like in the middle of the night. They were there. The owners came up for the weekend, and they had their dog, and I'm laying in bed, and I hear the dog walk in the room. And so I opened my eyes. I looked. I said, "Knock it off, Tristy." And I was looking to my left, or just glancing to my left, and then to my right, there was the bathroom door, and I saw this flash come out of the bathroom, like it was electric blue, like if you like arc 2 wires, that blue. I saw that flash in the bedroom, and then this orb comes out of the bedroom and floats by the foot of the bed. I watched it, and I'm like, and then it just faded away. I was like,
Wow.
okay. And what was I going to do? I went back to bed. I just rolled over, went back to sleep.
yeah.
Some other weird occurrences at certain, the day my mother died.
I mean, I've had stuff
Some
happen
weird
in
shit. She's
this
seen
house.
stuff.
In the house that we're sitting in right now, the first night moving in here, I've talked about it before. The air conditioning wasn't working. We're in Florida. It was 100 degrees that night. It felt like
The first day.
I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't sleep. So I get up. I come out to the kitchen, go to look for my cigarettes. I see them on the dining room table. A table sitting in the middle of the floor of the kitchen almost. And the way I reached across the table to grab my cigarettes, it just kind of put me looking towards the sink. I watched the cabinet next to the sink just fly open, hit the cabinet behind it, and slam shut. And I'm like stuck, reaching for my cigarettes. I said, "Okay, now, I hear you." And that was the very first night living here.
Don't break
Since
any
then-
dishes.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I hear you, but every house that I've lived in, I've had issues since I was a little girl. I mean, not just
Have
me,
you
but
seen
my children.
Have you seen the dark shadows like in the peripheral?
I think not in the peripheral. Actually, I think I seen one time in a house that I was staying in with my daughter after I'm a double amputee. After I lost my legs, I was sitting out on the back porch of a house that was late in the night. I look in the kitchen. I mean, I'm looking through sliding glass doors, but the door's open and it's into the living room. I'm watching TV. TV's on the far wall. to the left of the TV in the corner, very corner of the room, the living room, I see the outline of this dark figure. It looked like a very tall man standing there, just the shape of the outline. And I'm looking like, what the fuck am I looking at? What am I seeing? You know? So I'm kind of like blinking, looking, and it's not moving. It's just standing there, and it's standing there so dark. But the only thing in that corner was a little, almost like an end table, and with nothing on the table. So there was nothing to cast a shadow that would shape the figure of a man. You know, I sat there,
Wow.
not freaked out, just kind of like, what the hell? That house had issues as well. I mean, there's been knockings,
She's
banging.
seen apparitions in the corner of the room. She, you know, not here, but
Oh yeah, outside in the yard.
oh yeah, here, yeah.
No,
Forgot about that one.
Christmas Eve, I'm going out to the car. He's asleep. I wait for him to go to knock out so I could go grab gifts from
Played
the
Santa
car.
Claus.
Yeah, so I have this big box that it was an office chair, so that size box. I'm coming around the corner of the house, and you know, being on prosthetics, I'm looking down to watch my footing. It's dark, somewhat lit, but you know, I'm trying to be careful so that I don't bust my ass. I'm walking. I look up. At the time, there was a boat. A neighbor had a boat in our part of the yard, so I look up, and standing in front of the boat was, I mean, plain as day, I saw a guy standing there. It startled me. We were having issues with it's a long story, but there was a boat outside on the lake where people were hanging out. So we had kind of, you know, people throughout the night that we would
show
see.
up. They shouldn't be.
Yeah,
here.
that shouldn't be here. So I'm
Right.
thinking it's one of them, and it just caught me off guard. It startled me. So when I look up and I see the guy, it startled me to the point where I dropped the box. I dropped it just instantly. It put a dent in the box. That's how hard it dropped. And I looked, I reached down to grab the box, and as I'm standing up, I see it go, it was like a glitch. It was like gone. Yeah.
Oh,
I can
wow.
describe the guy. It was a white male, probably mid to late 30s, kind of brownish, dark hair, had on a black shirt with I don't know
But he
if it was
glitched out. They
Yeah.
just
third kind of glitch and gone. Just poof. Gone.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit. The fuck? You know?
I don't know
That's
if you woke
nuts.
me up, but when you told me, I was like, "What?
Yeah. Yeah,
What's going on, David?"
And it doesn't freak me out because I mean, like I said, most of my life since a little girl, everyone in my family, my sister, my mother, we've all had experiences. My children growing up, I have 4 daughters, and they, you know, there was a figure of a man that my oldest daughter, when she was 2, 3, all the way up to 4 years old, she saw the man at night in the corner of the room. And here, I think she was like 2 years old. I had just gotten back from boot camp. Very first night I was home, she wakes up crying and screaming that the man was in a room. And her being a toddler, basically, it would freak anybody out. But her being that little, yeah. I'm like, what the hell is this? And my my husband at the time, he's like, oh yeah, she's you know, mentioned that a few times since you've been gone. I'm like, you're just now saying it? You're saying something? But then it was that same apartment that here I'm laying in bed, middle of the night. He's downstairs hanging out with the neighbor. So it's just me and my daughter. She's in her room. I'm laying in my bed. It was that old style apartment with the closet doors with the mirrors. I'm laying in bed, my face in the mirror, the closet. I open my eyes. Something, I don't know what it was. It just made me open my eyes. I open my eyes and I see this glow of a figure standing in the corner of my room. And in that corner was like where I tossed my dirty laundry, you know, the pile of laundry on the floor. Back facing to me. I'm looking in the mirror and it made me jump up, and I look directly at him and I don't see anything. I look back to the mirror and there he is. It's like looking
We
back
don't
and
show
forth.
up in the mirror.
Only showing up in the mirror until like the 3rd or 4th time. And when I looked directly at him, then I saw him with my own eyes, like not through the mirror, directly looking at him. And I was freaked out. I'm like, go, like, go. You don't belong here. You got to go. When I said that, he kind of turned and held his hand up and looked at me like it's okay. And then boom, gone. Poof, like just gradually, instantly faded
Wow.
out, was gone. Yeah, it wasn't until a month later my ex's sister sent a photo album. We're flipping through the album and page turns and boom, I see him. It was my ex-husband's father that I saw. I'm almost certain it was my ex-husband's father standing in the corner of the room. That picture, I mean, my eyes instantly welled. I got chills. I'm like, that's it. That's who I saw. That's who that was. I'm almost certain of it. Can't be for sure, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, but that's crazy. I mean,
Yeah. I've seen.
What's up, Donald?
But a lot of my experiences at the same time are audio. A house that I was renting a room from just 2 years ago. I work, excuse me. I work, like I said, for the local county parks and recreation. But part of that is we have a museum of history for Seminole County. Occasionally, I'll get sent over there if the curator has to take a day off or whatever. I look forward to going and hanging out over there. It's interesting to me, but I spent the day at this museum, and basically at that time it was summer camp for the kids, and it was all of a sudden it was about paranormal. They had electric meters, and it was kind of a cute little paranormal ghost hunt for the kids. Well, no, I didn't think anything of it. I go home, I go back to the house. My roommate, the owner of the house, actually was out of town, and I had the house to myself. Random occurrence. No, she took her dog. There was just me, so nobody in the house. I'm getting ready for bed. I go into the room, and as soon as I sat down on the bed, when I got home from work, I just stopped at the grocery store, got home, put the groceries away, grabbed something to eat, cleaned up my mess in the kitchen, and went to the room. As I sit down on the bed, I just sat down on the bed, I hear what sounds like the bowl that I was eating from. It sounded like, almost imagine throwing a cereal bowl in the sink and hearing the spoon clank in the bowl. That's the sound I heard. And it, I sat up on the bed because I know I'm home alone. There's nobody in the house. There's nobody around. So I'm like, okay, I just heard that. It didn't make sense to me, but I didn't get up to look. But a few seconds later, I hear what sounded like the grocery bags, like Walmart bags, the ruffling of, but I know I threw them away. So then I get up, I grab my weapon, because now I'm thinking somebody's in the house. I'm definitely thinking somebody's in the house, and I've got him on the phone with me. We weren't there, we weren't at that place together at the time. So I got him on the phone with me, and I'm like, I don't know if somebody's in the house. I don't know what I'm hearing, but those are the sounds that I heard. I go to the kitchen, I walk the house, nothing. The bags are still in the trash. The bowl that I cleaned up was in the dish drainer. There was nothing.
Wow.
But they're like did anybody die in that house?
Oh yeah, her husband and her brother both had passed in that house within like 4 years from the time that I was there. Like within the previous 4 years, both had passed in that house. So yeah, there's history to that house for sure. But like I said, almost every place that I've ever lived, there's been something going on, whether it's visual, hearing things. I mean, there was same apartment years ago where I saw what I think is my ex-father-in-law, if you want to call him that. That same apartment, I would hear knocking in the middle of the night. It would wake me up on the wall behind the headboard. That wall where the knocking came from was basically behind the stove. There was cabinets and there was stove. It was the kitchen that backed that wall, and nobody else in the house. But I would be woken to just knocking. Just a constant knock. And I would try to wake my ex, and do you hear that? Do you hear that? No, he wouldn't hear anything. By the time I woke him up and he was aware, it would stop. Finally, one night, he heard it. He did hear it. And I'm like, oh, thank God. At least I'm not crazy. This went on for a long time. It's just weird shit like that.
Karen says I must be the biggest weenie. I pray every night to please let me not see anything bad. I don't know why. I watch too many ghost and murder shows, I think.
And that's the thing. I think because I've experienced so much, it doesn't scare me. I mean, of course, I get startled to anything that
Well, yeah,
jumps out
that's
at me
normal.
like a cabinet. Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't think there's ever been anything that's actually scared me.
Well, talking about
as a fear for myself, other than thinking that maybe somebody's in the house. Once I realize nobody's in the house, I'm like, okay, all right. I'd much rather it be something paranormal than to have a real live person break in.
I felt that primal fear once.
Oh, you did. That's right.
In that house that I told you about, where I saw the orb. Downstairs there was the kitchen, the library, or den, whatever you want to call it, and then there was a door to the living room. And the TV and stuff, I'd hang out in the den because it was like a library type deal. It had all books but one day I just got drawn to the living room, and the only thing in there was like maybe a chair and some boxes. So I get to the doorway and I step in, and all of a sudden I just get this fear, like
a rush.
Like, what the fuck? Fear. I got so scared that I went past fear and went to pissed off, because I just started yelling, "Come on, motherfucker!"
I've been there.
I was like, I was so afraid that I just got mad, and for like, I don't know how many seconds it was. I stood there like nothing happened. I stepped out, fear went away, and that, I don't know what the hell was in there. It wasn't good, whatever it was.
Yeah, definitely not. That guttural, like, intense feeling, that's your body going, something ain't right. There's like, you always trust that no matter what, because it ain't
There was
good.
nothing in there. There was no noise,
Not that you
nothing.
could see.
It was just in
Not
a
that
room.
you could see.
And then I was like drawn to it, and no.
I believe something was there.
LIB, what's up?
Couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. But what's funny is all this paranormal stuff that I've grown up with. What brought me to this community had nothing to do with that. It was I was in the Army. I was at Fort Pickett in Virginia, and
Thank you for your service.
Scream, this god awful guttural scream where I saw the tree moving in motion of the scream that I'm hearing, and for years tried to research, look online, Google every animal, every wildlife that could possibly have been that sound, and the only thing that came close one day was an audio of what someone claimed to be a Bigfoot sound. And that made me dive deep into the rabbit hole of this community.
Mm-hmm.
And since then I experienced it again. The second time was probably 10, 12 years later, and that time it was just right behind me. I say 10 feet if it was that, but I felt it come through my body, and just I've never experienced that before. Just feeling every organ, every probably parts of me that I never knew I had.
Vibrate.
Just everything vibrates.
It vibrates right through you. It's very odd.
When I turned, it took everything in me, and that there was a fear there that I froze, and it took everything in me to I felt like this is it. This is this is my death. But if I'm getting taken out, I have to see what this is.
Or the one at
No,
work?
this is at work. Yeah. I had to see what it was. It took everything in me to turn around to look, and then to turn around and look and still feel that, and there's nothing there. That freaked me out. Yeah, that freaked me out. And next thing I remember, I don't know if it was hearing myself, hearing whatever, but it was run, and I hauled ass. That's the only time I've ever ran from anything, I think.
I think that's one thing that, nowadays when people, they hear the Bigfoot cries on the internet, everything else, there was a time where we didn't have that. Like,
exactly.
The first time I heard a Bigfoot scream was like 87. I was camping with my brother, and we were all the way up on a dead end road. I mean, like, there's nothing around. And we're getting camp ready, and this scream came down the valley. And my brother looked at me because he knows I know pretty much the woods. He's like, "What the was that?" And I'm like,
Oh, you can cuss
"I don't
here.
know."
You might not cuss.
Oh, this is true. Sorry.
I was like, "Well, can I cuss here?"
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Oh,
Haven't
he was
heard
like,
me.
"What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't fucking know." And so I immediately got out the gun and I was like, okay, I'm like searching the hills of like, what is this thing? Because this is not anything I've ever had to deal with. And I've camped up there 100 times.
Sure.
Well, we get done with our night up next morning and we leave. Nothing happens, everything else. He goes back to college. I go back to high school. And then my senior year, he calls me and goes, turn on the TV right now. Because the BFR in Washington State had a program on and they had a Bigfoot call and they were playing it over and over again. That was what we heard.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, oh my God, we heard a Bigfoot. And I'm like, well, we knew he was out there. We just never heard him before. But yeah, when you hear that, it goes through your whole body. It vibrates everything, and it does do a fear of like you get locked up for a second, like a big cat when he does that subsonic sound. It's like, oh God.
Well, the first time I heard it, it was at a distance. It was we were in the opening up. It was at the beginning of an open field, and the tree line was probably about 50 yards to the right of us. So there was a distance there. That was the first time, and that was enough to freak me out. Then, I mean, we dropped to the ground. We ran around the corner of the barracks, and the guy that I was with up until the last time I spoke to him, which I spoke to him for years after that, but he tried to convince me it was a fox. It was no, fuck you. It was not. That fox is not
Fox
in the
shake the
tree.
tree.
It's not moving the tree. I'm not feeling the vibration on the ground from a fox. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, but then the second time with it being that close, that's what freaked me out, was just turning around and not seeing anything. I think that's what scared me, was not seeing. I mean, I was already scared. I just knew whatever it was, this is what's taking me out. I'm done. There's no running from this. That's how close it was. That's how I felt it. But to turn around and see nothing, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Freaked. I ran. I don't think I can remember ever running from anything in my life. I ran from that. I hauled ass.
David, how you doing,
Yeah.
man?
I'm
I
all right. Sick as a dog.
Oh,
Are you
no.
really? Oh man, sorry to hear
Yeah,
that.
we went to the forest yesterday. Finally, after I stopped and I got $50 worth of gas, and then found out I was 2 quarts of oil low, so I had to put $15 worth of oil in. Then go change a tire, cost me $45, and then a trip down there. We spent probably 2 hours in the forest taking pictures and stuff. And whenever we got to Aunt Jenny's grave is when I started feeling sick. And me and my wife were down there taking pictures. And I told her, I said, I don't feel good since I got in this graveyard. And we went on to the old house places, and we couldn't get pictures of Aunt Jenny's house place because they fenced it in, and you can't get any good pictures of the house place, even though it's burnt. But there's still
So
some of it
were
remaining.
you were in what, Bankhead?
Yep, we were in Bankhead National Forest, and I was feeling great. We was laughing and cutting up all the way, and we finally made it to Aunt Jenny's. We stopped at Pebble and took pictures of the monument that they got, the old headstone. Then we went to Aunt Jenny's grave, and when we got to her grave and I started taking pictures, my throat started feeling bad, and then I went to feeling bad, and I've been a little hoarse ever since and coughing. But
Is it ghost sickness? Because
No,
that
what?
sucks. Ghost sickness?
yeah, I guess ghost sickness. I'll
I've been
tell you,
curious
it's just,
Casadega here
Well,
in Florida, psychic
there's-
community.
there's a lot of tales about Aunt Jenny, and some of them they believe, some of them not. But it was It was a great trip, even though we got back just in time for Emma's birthday party, and she had a great party, and then took my wife out today for her favorite restaurant, and we ate there and had a good time and everything, even though I'm sick, but I got
Oh,
the
no.
picture sent in to text for the show, and then we're going to have it Monday night at 8 o'clock.
Oh, right on.
But we haven't discussed whether it's going to be on my channel or his channel yet.
You can simulcast too.
Yeah. I'm just learning all this crap, so take me a while. But
I feel bad. I am too.
Doesn't mean I can do it.
yeah, we're going to go back, and I've got a lot of places down there, not in Bankhead, but all around the area where I growed up and everything, and there's a lot of history there. So we're going to go back and do some more videos, some more pictures and stuff like that. And if everything goes great, I'm going to try to do some live streams from out in those areas, but the reception is
Sure.
according. But we had fun yesterday. I mean, usually whenever we get in the forest or way out like that, she kind of gets claustrophobic, but she didn't yesterday, so that was a good thing. And I don't know.
Claustrophobic well, I guess in a forest, yeah, I could see that.
Well, it's not just the forest; it's other places too. If we
No,
go over
no.
to-
I think my first reaction was what? Claustrophobic in a forest, but I guess I could see that.
yeah, but she gets claustrophobic. Like if we go from here over to going towards the Mississippi line, whenever we get in a certain point of the road there on 72 headed towards the Mississippi line, she starts feeling claustrophobic in that area, but after she passes it, she's fine. So I don't know. It's just something about certain parts of the area. She starts feeling claustrophobic. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's sensitive to ley lines or something. Who knows?
Something's got to be going on because it's only certain areas. I need to mark those areas really to find out.
Yeah. Hey, you guys got to batten down the hatches. You guys have some weather coming your way tomorrow.
Yeah, we do. It was thundering pretty good here today and
Yeah.
clouding up. It rained a little bit, but knocked our internet out. Thank God I got AT&T to back me up instead of Xfinity sucks, I tell you. The wind blows just right, it blows it out.
Yeah, we have that problem too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Xfinity.
Yeah, you
Really?
remember the first satellites that came out, those big ones? The humongous fiberglass ones? Everybody was getting to start out with the very first ones.
That was in New York.
Back in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah, they're like 10-foot diameter. They're
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. Everybody is taking those up now and using them for the roof on their hunting houses, shooting houses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to find those now so they can make a shooting house out of them. Use that for a roof. But anyway, going back to those, whenever it dropped down below freezing and it got a certain temperature, if you had a lot of ice on your satellite dish, it would freeze your TV up, and you'd have to go out there outside and chip it off or beat it off and everything. And they brought us a new part and put it in there so that it would withstand lower temperatures. I think it was $180 back then. But
Yeah.
it was weird. We had the dinosaur stuff to start out with always. The VCRs were humongous back in the day,
Oh yeah, they were.
heavy as heck.
And the beta tapes were even bigger than the VHS. I don't know if you remember those.
Oh yeah. What got me is I never knew it. There was an old woman handed me a record, told me to put that in. We'd watch this movie. I was like, "What are you talking about? That's a record." play that on the record player. She said, don't put it in that machine. I put it in a machine. Here we are watching a movie. I'd never saw one of those.
I don't remember those.
Those
What was
they were records, but you put them in a machine and you could hook it up to your TV. And when you put it in a machine, the record would play the movie on your TV. They sold them
That
at
was a
Sears.
Blu-ray.
That was Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. Yeah, that was the big
Yeah.
disc.
Yeah.
It was the size of a record.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the first disc. I mean, you got to imagine again, everything was dinosaur back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was late 70s, early 80s.
Blu-ray was. Trying to remember.
Hell, my first computer was a Commodore 64, if I remember right. And it was a
Right.
keyboard, and you had a cassette deck, and you had to put cassette tapes in it for your hard drive. So you had
Yeah.
to rewind and play to actually get you your data. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've come a long way, and I mean, who knows where the hell it's going to go?
Well, I watched a video, short just yesterday of a young lady trying to open up a cassette tape.
Oh really?
And she couldn't figure out it. She's like, does it slide? She's pushing at it, like pushing the button, and then she got silly and started Siri open.
Hey,
You know, I mean, she was goofing, of course, but she could not figure out how to take the tape out of the
going back to y'all's premonitions and stuff, whenever I was a kid, I had premonitions a lot. And my brother had just learned how to drive and got his driver's license. Dad was letting him drive, and I was in the middle of the truck. And all of a sudden, I grabbed the dash and I said, slow down, slow down. We was coming up on a hill. And Dad's, what's wrong with you? I said, just slow the damn truck down. That's exactly words out of my mouth as a kid. And he said, slow it down. Told my brother, he said, slow down, see what's going on. So we slowed down. So we went over the hill. This woman pulled out in front of an 18-wheeler and got T-boned. And some way or another, I knew that was going to happen before we ever went over that hill. So if we would have kept at the constant travel, the rate of speed we was going, we would have slammed into the back of the 18-wheeler. So luckily, he slowed down. We had a chance to change lanes. We had to get over in the turning lane, actually, to dodge the 18-wheelers rear end.
And if you hadn't slowed down, you definitely would have hit it. Wow.
Yeah, that was my first premonition I ever had. And then I had more after that, but you know, they were small premonitions. You know, this was going to happen, that was going to happen, it would. But you know, going back to y'all's ghost stories, I never played around with those ghost boxes, and I don't really believe in them myself because I really think they're just picking up radio waves, kind of like Bumblebee on the Transformers.
Yeah.
You know, he changed stations and
It's the
said what he
same
wanted to.
principle, but that's the
Well,
idea
that's-
behind it.
Yeah, but since I've watched that movie and I saw, Bumblebee do it, I think somebody picked that technology up and decided they was going to run with it, and that's what's got me against the ghost box. But I played around with it a little bit, and then I got the one where it would take pictures as you talked. And we were sitting here, and I said, "Is there anybody here?" And all of a sudden, there was 3 little girls popped up in there as a picture. And then I said, "Is there anybody else here?" And then a man showed up, and then we kept talking, and then we got to thinking, you know, we're on Helen Keller property. Let's look up Helen Keller. So we did, and actually, the 3 little kids was the same as what was in the picture. There was 4 little girls actually in the picture that we found on the internet, but the 3 were there, the ones that were in my picture, and then the old man was her uncle. He come up to be her Helen Keller's uncle. So, but I quit playing around with all that stuff because, you know.
I kind of had a.
Well,
I did believe
don't get me wrong.
totally. You know, in the spirit boxes and the phone apps, all that kind of stuff. The phone apps, I'm still like, I've had them work, but they're so rare.
Yeah.
also with the Spirit Box or the radio,
Yeah.
I've had it not. It's just dumb most of the time, but every once in a while you'll get voices that either they have a different tone and almost an echo to them that
Yeah.
should not be on the radio. I've had it cross channels, and when I was at the TB hospital, I had something come over that because I was really challenging a entity there that grabbed the butt of one of our other investigators. And he came out with some language that there's no way was on the radio. I mean, it's impossible for that to be over the radio. And there was 3 of us up in the attic, and we all looked at each other, was like, that's not the radio. Because he just told me to do something to him, and he told me to F off, and he went on. So I'm like, I've had it work really good like 3 times. And I've used it like 100. So,
Well, no, I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not down in it. You know, it is technology and everything, and I'm new at it. But it's just ever since I've watched the Transformers and saw Bumblebee do that, you know, and then all of a sudden this technology comes out, it's like I've turned against it a little bit, you know. But I still believe people have good, positive reactions with it. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not down in it.
Does he believe in it? Does he believe in the boxes?
In what?
Sparky, he did. She was asking, do y'all believe in it? My wife was
Believe
asking, do
in
y'all
this-
believe in it?
in the Spirit Box,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never used it.
I believe spirits can do a lot of things. They turn on lights, they can move stuff. I've had them in old school actually change the radio. Remember back when the radio, you had the knob, which was a string that went to the little device that moved it? I've had that move. So I can't say they can't use these devices. I've had them work. I'm just saying that 90% of the time is BS. The rest of the time, plausible.
Well, let me tell you. Go ahead.
That's what I've experienced is physical manipulation.
Yes.
Okay,
Go ahead, Dave.
Let me-
Sorry.
let me tell y'all this story. Dad was listening to the radio one night real late. He had a base station. We could talk to Hawaii, we could talk to Guam, we could talk to the Philippines, anywhere. It was just that way. You know, he had a kicker on it, and we had a 65-foot tower in the backyard with a Starduster antenna, all that. Back in the 70s, 80s, that was high tech. Okay. He also had a rotor on it where he could turn the antenna. Okay. He was listening to radio one night. This truck driver was talking to somebody, but you wouldn't hear the guy come back. And then he would burst out laughing and say, yeah, that's right. And then he kept on the conversation for like 20 or 30 minutes. Finally, this other truck driver said, who are you talking to? And he says, I'm talking to so-and-so. He said, no, you're not. He said, that man's been dead for 15 years now. He said, he had a bad wreck. He said, well, I've been carrying on a conversation with him for the last 30 minutes. And he said, no, he said, you ain't been talking to him.
Yeah, maybe he
I
was.
know. Dad was listening to it. He told us about it the next day. It was weird.
I've heard truck drivers give me that kind of story before.
Yeah.
My uncle was one, and they're like, yeah, I was talking to this dude and he was dead, or nobody could hear him but me, you know, at a truck stop with like 15 trucks, and he's the only one that can actually hear him. Weird stuff like that. Yeah, I think spirits can do more than we think, and I think if we're going to put them in a box, we're dumb.
Yeah. Well,
I know what's weird is when I saw that, when I had that experience in that room where I felt the fear, when I was staying in that house at the time, I was reading a lot of books. Like I read like John Edwards, one of his books or 2 of his books, James Van Praagh. They're mediums, you know. So I was reading about these life after death shit a lot. So I don't think I influenced it by doing it. I just think it opened me up more to, you know, what's actually out there.
yeah, my wife has had a lot of experiences. She can be asleep on a couch, and all of a sudden it'd be like her mom comes to her, or one of her dead relatives come to her, and you can hear her kind of real loud in her sleep and or something like that, and then she'll do that a few times. I finally wake her up and she said, "Where's they at?" I said, "Where's who at?" And she said, "I was talking to so and so." I said, "No, you wasn't. You were sound asleep." So her spirits come to her in her sleep.
That
Well,
happens
that's
to
like
Stevie.
the smells. Like at times I could smell my grandfather, his cologne, or my grandmother's, because she always wore that old school rose perfume. It'll just waft past me, and you're like, "What?" It won't be anywhere else.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
weird. It's weird because your sense of smell, your olfactory senses have the strongest memory as far as the strongest bond to memory.
I really want to get to my grandpa's house place because it's went through 3 owners and the last owner has not entered it yet. And the other owner, uh, they've had some stuff happen. So I'd like to go back there. I mean, that would be kind of weird, but
I don't know. The whole ghost hunting never really
I never had to hunt them.
interested me. Like I didn't.
I've never had
I don't know.
to go looking for experiences. They just randomly happen.
I'll go walk in the woods looking for something out there before I'll go in a haunted house. But I said it the other week. I want to try to.
I've talked about this on here before, but I had a dream where my grandmother came to me in the dream, and I was aware that I was asleep and dreaming, and it was validated by something that she said in the end. My screen name is Stevie. That was my birth name, nickname. My actual name's Stephanie. Most of you know. Being in the dream and being aware that I'm back at the house that I grew up in, I'm seeing things that I hadn't thought of since I was a kid. Like the African violet plant on the end table that, my mom had, and we used to have to water every Friday. You know what I mean? Little things like that. But the validation was she's leaving, and I'm basically in tears, and I'm just kind of, this is the short version of it. I'm in tears, and I'm hugging her, and she says, "I love you, Stevie." And as she's pulling away, she chuckles, she laughs. Well, what that meant was when I was in the 3rd grade, up until the 3rd grade, I never knew how to spell Stephanie because I wrote Stevie on kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade paperwork. Every assignment was Stevie. She hated that as a nickname for me. That's a boy's name. She was the only one that was resistant out of my whole family. One day at my grandparents', my cousins, my sisters, everybody's outside playing. I was made to sit down on the floor in the living room on a wooden plank with a piece of paper and a red crayon and learned how to spell Stephanie. I couldn't move until I learned how to spell Stephanie because she was so against me moving forward being known as Stevie, a boy's name. So when she said that and chuckled and laughed, it just hit me.
That's the abridged version, but the things that she left out, like when her grandmother, there was a knock at the door, and she opened the door. It was a grandmother. Her grandmother came in and said, "I don't have a lot of time."
She rushed past me.
She was like, "We're there for a message."
I don't have time. She said, "I don't have much time," and she made a beeline to the kitchen. And she was a funny person, but I knew her as being stern and serious and, not pleasant growing up. She wasn't the type to be affectionate, but she made a beeline to the kitchen, and she's opened up the refrigerator door. And I'm baffled because, again, I know I'm dreaming. I know she shouldn't be there. I'm just kind of in shock a little bit, tripping out on but Meemaw, So she goes to the refrigerator and opens it up, and she's like, "I'm dying of thirst," and she laughs. It's as she knows she's past. She's like, "I'm dying of thirst," and I'm just like, really, you know what I mean? But the whole thing was she insisted, "I don't have much time. I don't have much time." She gets something to drink. She grabs water from the sink, pushing me out of the way, nudging me over so she can get to the sink to grab some water out. Takes a gulp, sets the cup down on the counter, and she just turns to me and she's like, listen, I have to tell you because I gotta go. You're gonna be okay. And I'm like, I know, like, okay, you know, I know. And she's like, no, you don't understand. You're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I'm thinking because of what I had going on in my life at the time, that it was her reassuring me that things will be okay. It was more than that. It was 3 months later, I had lost my legs. I had my amputation, lost my legs. And it didn't dawn on me until I'm sitting there listening to one of Moog's shows conversation, and there was talking about dreams and messages behind them. And it like hit me. I can almost imagine her slapping me in the back of the head and saying, "You dumbass, you finally got it," you know, and I just tears. I mean, just sobbed instantly. But that was it. She was there to tell me I was going to be okay.
And you know what? She was right.
She was right. She was.
That's
absolutely
amazing.
right. Absolutely right. But that's not the only. I mean, that's not the first time I've had a dream that was vivid. But that was the first dream I've ever had where I was completely aware. I had just fallen asleep. I was in a dream. I say planted into the house, the home that I grew up in, my childhood home. I remember landing in it. I mean, like just being there in the living room, just arriving, like looking around, like, why am I here? What the fuck am I doing here? You know, like, and as I'm tripping out on seeing those things that I long have forgotten, that's when I hear the knock at the door, and that kind of not scared me, but I was real nervous of who am I going to see when I open this door. It wasn't a fear. I wasn't afraid. I was just nervous of who was going to be at the door because that's how aware I was. I was in this dream. Trip.
When I was a kid, going back to my premonitions now, Mom had a real good friend of hers, and we would always go visit her. And she was a real nice old lady. And Mom says, she's sick. We're going to get up tomorrow and go see her. And I went to bed, and Mom says, why are you still in your clothes? I said, you don't understand. I said, we need to go on and see this woman tonight. She said, no, you need to go on and get to bed. Well, I went to bed with my clothes on, and she got mad at me, and she said, we're not going till tomorrow. I said, Mom, you don't understand. We need to go tonight. She took my shoes off and made me change clothes in my pajamas and go on to bed. The next morning, before daylight, she got the phone call that the woman had passed. And she turned around and looked at me like, you know, how did you know? And that was a weird thing. But
I remember having a conversation with Muggs that I'm like, why my grandmother of all people? You know, like I said, she wasn't very affectionate. She wasn't affectionate. I don't remember a time of actually hugging her. So for her to come and just grab me and hug me, and then when she told me she loved me, you know, here I'm sobbing, and she said Stevie, and then laughed, and she's turning away. That same chuckle of, you know, where she says I'm dying of thirst. You know, that's what solidified that was her. But I questioned, like, why her of all people? You know, but I get it because it was the message. It was
She
more
was the one to get it across.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't get it in the moment. I just, like I said, I applied her message, I mean, she was dead serious. Like, no, you don't understand. You listen, you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I mean, said it 3 or 4 times, and then I got to go. She grabbed her bag, her purse, you know, threw it across her arm like she always did and walked just as fast to the door. And I'm like, no, don't go. You know, I wanted to talk. I had questions. I just, don't go, you know, but she had to go. What was wicked was when she opened the door to leave, behind her, reminds me of the background of this screen. It was just that dull white, grayish white of nothing behind her. She stepped onto the porch and, you know, turned and looked at me. As she stepped out, it was just, she was gone. It wasn't that she walked into a fog or nothing. It was just, she took another step and was gone. And I was left standing there at the door like, what the fuck just happened? You know, but it trips me out to know the whole time I knew I was dreaming. I knew I had just went to bed. I just laid down and I fall asleep quick. I always have. Like he's shaking his head.
Yeah.
I do. I lay down, my head hits the pillow, I'm knocked out. So I knew that I just went to bed. I knew that I just laid down, and it was almost as if the second I fell asleep, I was put back in my childhood home, right in the living room. I was like, wow. I didn't go any further past the kitchen, but that's the time frame of it was just so quick. I
And what
wanted
an
to-
amazing gift. I mean, that's an amazing
Oh.
gift she gave you to come back and
Absolutely.
just to reassure you.
Absolutely. I wish she'd do it
I
again.
think,
You
I
know?
think you should.
I mean, come on. I've thought about it so many times. So I'm like, come back. You know, I mean, I was standing there like, don't go. I'm sobbing.
I think you see the apparitions and the figures and all for a reason. You just have to figure them out yourself.
And you have
A
to
lot
pay
of times.
attention, be open-minded enough to be willing to see it and admit when you see it. Admit to yourself at least, you know,
Yeah.
say, hey, I know I saw something or
Well,
heard
when
something.
when I saw the guy in the
Yeah.
yard, it startled me because I'm thinking, I mean, that's how real it was. That person was, that man, that gentleman was standing there, and it startled me. And it's always seems like anytime that I've had that experience, it's within seconds, it's done. I don't see it coming. There's no warning. It's boom, it's there, just as quickly gone. You know,
Yeah.
so there's for me, there's no trying to make it happen or try to be open to it. It just kind of slaps me in the face almost.
Hi, Erica.
I
Erica
think it's
said,
almost
Stevie,
like
let me just read this real quick. Stevie B would love to connect with you on this. I get it.
Sure. That's not the only dream I've had. That's the only one that I've had where I was aware, but I had a dream that I don't talk about much. It impacted me so deeply that for easily a week afterwards, I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't even talk about it. It involved one of my daughters, and it was a premonition. It basically told me not to do something, and I didn't do it, and it was because of that dream that I had, and I believe that was a premonition. My dreams, when they become that vivid, it's always been a message of some sort. That one with my grandma was a direct message. That's the only one I've ever had. I'd love to have more. You know, I would love to. I just
so
don't.
I got a question because my mom had dreams that would come true. Kind of what you're talking about.
Mine does.
I like rarely have them. I mean, it's like maybe 2 times a year, but I always know when I wake up because they were in color. I can feel, I smell. It's like real, but you know you're actually asleep. And when I wake up, it's within like 10 minutes. It's hard to try to. I'm trying to remember what the dream was.
Yeah.
Do you have the same thing?
Trying to remember dreams.
I don't
Well-
have to remember them so much. I mean, when I dream, I will say that I know they say that people say that you dream every time you sleep. I don't. For myself, I don't believe that. I believe that when I do dream, that every dream that I have is that vivid to where it's not difficult for me to remember. I've had dreams like that since I was a little girl that I could tell you reoccurring dreams from when I was 6, 7, 8 years old up to adult. And I think for me, I can't speak for everyone, but yes, it's color, it's sight, it's sound, it's hearing, it's feeling, it's the emotion, it's all senses as if I'm living that moment. And, you know, I remember one thing that my grandfather used to say. He said, when you dream, you wake up exhausted. It's because your spirit lived that experience. You wake up tired after dreaming because your spirit has actually lived that. It was real. I mean, maybe I'm saying it wrong from the message that he gave me, you know, telling me that when I was younger, but yeah, I believe most of my
I
dreams.
so agree with you on that.
Yeah, most of my dreams, every dream that I've ever had has been in color. I've heard people say, "Oh, you know, you can't dream in color." No, I dream in color.
I don't
I
pay
did.
attention to it. I'm thinking back. I'm like, I don't know if it was color.
I think I would notice if it wasn't, if it was black and white or, you know, whatever. I would notice that more. But every dream I've had has always been in color. Yeah.
If I go to like if I unexpectedly like stay at someone's house, like, you know, and I'm using their pillow or a pillow that's been used a lot, if I use that pillow, I will have weird fucking dreams because I will pick up energies off of that pillow. It happens.
No kidding.
Yeah, no, yeah, I have some weird fucking dreams.
Well, you know, I always dreamed in black and white, but they put me on those patches to help me stop, the nicotine patches to help me stop.
Oh, those things are wicked.
Man,
For dreams,
I
I
put
mean.
me one of those on. I went to sleep with it on. I've had full color nightmares, and I would not wear anymore. I mean, it's just horrible dreams. And you have a full color horror dream. I mean, you don't want to go back to sleep.
It could be black and white. I still don't want to go back to sleep.
Yeah, right.
Black and white don't bother me so much. I know it's a dream, but them colored ones makes it look more vivid, like it's lifelike. I can't stand that.
Yeah, I never thought about if my dreams were color or not.
Yeah, mine always are.
Sometimes I'll like get into bed, and just as soon as my head hits that pillow, I'll get a feeling from the night before's dream, like all of a sudden, like not a memory, but like that
Continuation.
like a
almost,
feeling
like,
of it. It's like, wait, but I don't remember the dream from the night
Oh,
before.
you remember Ronnie James Dio had the Rainbow in the Dark? Nobody could figure it out. You know the song Rainbow in the Dark? It's like a rainbow never happens in the dark. I was flipping through an old magazine and I found like an 1800 Chicago. They had put a fountain in and the street lights were showing, I guess it was still gaslight back then, and they were flickering and they actually showed a rainbow in the dark, and it freaked everybody out back in the 1800s that they were actually seeing a rainbow late at night.
That's odd.
And I was like, well, that put some meaning to Ronnie James Dio's song, you know, Rainbow in the Dark. I got some magazines I need to cover on the show. They got a lot of weird stuff in them from way back in there.
Said, but it makes sense.
Times.
Yeah, I can go a long time without having a dream, but when I do dream, it's always that vivid to where I can remember it. I think just recently, I want to say within the past few months, I woke up knowing I was dreaming and had a hard time remembering exactly what it was. I think I mentioned it to you. It was almost like I was looking for somebody. I don't know who it was. There wasn't a name or a face, or it was almost like I was on this mission to find someone, but it was so vivid that I couldn't remember. And that's kind of weird for me, because usually when I wake up from a dream, I remember. I could write it down in detail.
Real quick.
Later in the day, I can still write it down in detail.
Papa, prayers to Nana.
Yes.
Yeah, prayers to Nana. I didn't get to read what was happening, but I saw the chat was starting to say prayers to her. So, Papa, see?
Meniscus.
Possibly operated on.
Yeah.
Prayers from us.
Give Nana a hug for me, please. Tell her I said hello.
Yeah.
Send her
I
love.
read that about Papa and his heart and everything. I thought that's awesome, but I didn't catch the one about Nana. I missed it. But we send our prayers to her anyway, Papa.
For sure.
I'm just scrolling back. I don't know if I said hi to Richie. What's up, Richie?
Richie.
Hmm?
I said hi. Oh, in chat I did.
So where are we at?
Yeah, Erica, we gotta get in touch. That I love talking about that stuff, and I could go into more detail of other dreams. Some things I don't talk about to a lot of people, because some dreams that I've had, like I said, have hit me so hard that it took a week or so before I could even talk about it.
I had a friend who would dream, and if she dreamt about a person, chances are it was because they were going to die.
Wow.
And I was like, don't ever dream about me, thanks.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know, Dad had a dream. He kept on waking up every night between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, thinking the water was dripping in the sink, and he would get in there and it would be nothing happening. And, he'd come in there and wake us up. Did y'all get up and get any water? No. And this happened for about a week, and he finally got tired of it. And he called the guy that owned the house. He said, I've got to call a plumber to see if there's something wrong with the sink. I hear it dripping every morning, but I can't find nothing wrong with it. So the plumber comes out. This plumber comes out from underneath the house with a big ass smile on his face, holding something other cuddled up in his arms, and he shoves it in his van right quick and hollers at Dad on the porch. He said, there ain't a damn thing wrong with your plumbing. I'll see you later. And he drove off, and Dad says he still thinks he found some treasure up underneath the house, underneath that sink, that ghost was trying to tell him that there was something under the sink down there. And he saw burlap hanging out from around the guy's straddle, torso. But when he shoved it in the van, he saw a burlap bag that he'd shoved in there. So he don't know whether it was gold, silver, or what he had found up underneath the house. And it made Dad mad.
I bet.
Yeah, but
I'm waiting on.
Plumber just ripped you off.
I'm waiting on somebody to send me the lottery numbers for the next drawing in a dream. That would be awesome.
Somebody mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, that would be awesome. No, I've only had a handful of dreams that I can say were messages to me.
well, our fortune cookie gave her lucky numbers, but then it gave me my winning numbers on the lottery. So, but I threw them away, or she did.
Papa said I had 3 dreams of a friend and 2 brothers coming by and saying goodbye for the very time they died.
Wow.
Well, I did that with kinfolks too. I went and saw, we was riding down the road, and I saw my uncle out there in the yard. I told my wife, I said, I'm going to turn around and go back and talk to him. I ain't seen him in years. Well, I pulled up and I said, how you doing? He said, I just got a brain tumor took out of my head a few weeks ago. He said, I got to go back and have another one took out. And he said, so far I'm doing fine. I said, okay. And he said, well, I'm glad you come see me for the last time. I said, I come to see you for the first time. I said, I ain't seen you in a long time. He said, well, you probably won't see me again. And, he passed away a few weeks after that on the operating table. But, then we had one about the kid. I told you, about the old lady. I had bad feelings about her, and Mom, she passed away that morning. But there's been other people that I went to see that I hadn't saw in a long time. Something they told me to stop by and see them, and either a few days or a few weeks later they would be gone. And I was like, well, I don't want to tell anybody this because then they're gonna think I'm the angel of death or something, and then they're gonna be afraid. If I show up at their house, they're gonna say, well, how long is it left for me?
Invite David over.
Right.
Yeah, don't invite me over. I'm bad luck.
Well, David, you were talking earlier about going to the cemetery. There is a psychic town here in Florida. It's Cassadaga, and I've talked about this before a couple times, I think, on the show. My youngest daughter and I one evening were kind of bored, and we've known of this Cassadaga, the town, where we figured let's go take a ride, see if we could find somewhere to get a reading. I've never had a psychic reading. Figured what the heck, hopped in the van, drive down out to this town. It's a little area. It's not even a town. It's just to me, it's like a giant neighborhood. One way in, one way out. It's a loop. There's a cemetery down at the bottom of the loop before you come back out of the neighborhood.
It's a psychic community of mediums and psychics and whatever.
Yes, and well known for it. You could Google it and check it out. It's unique. Let's put it that way. Well, I'm driving in, and as I'm getting closer into the area where the houses are down towards the cemetery, I start getting this tightness in my chest. It almost feels like something's pressing on my chest. It got worse and worse as we come around the loop, and by the time I got 3/4 of the way out of it, I couldn't get out of there quick enough. I swear I thought I was having a heart attack. And my daughter sitting in the passenger seat was kind of freaking out. Mom, you okay? You okay? I'm like, no, I couldn't talk. It felt like it was hard to breathe. It just felt like somebody was a 300-pound person was standing on my chest, and I'm trying to drive to get out of there. The further I got away from the place, that pressure started releasing from me, and I felt better. And I have yet to go back to that place ever since. I've been there before. I've gone there before in the daytime and walked around that little community. Spent probably a better part of a good part of the day, half of the day, walking around the premises of this place, and never had anything, never felt nothing, never saw
But
anything.
it just seems to me that something was trying to keep you out of there.
Yes. I mean,
Be it something that you had with you or something that was there.
yeah, no, it
They
was
didn't want you there.
absolutely. And trust me, I listened. I
Well-
couldn't. I honest to God thought I was having a heart attack.
You
Riley,
know,
Ron, what's up?
just to change subjects just a little bit, I learned one thing during this research, and the Hubbard family was the only colored family in the forest, and they owned land next to Aunt Jenny. We went to school at Haleville High School, and there were only two black families in the school. It was the Hubbards and the Whites, and it never dawned on me. I had heard the story over and over in the childhood that the Hubbards was was living next to Aunt Jenny, but it never dawned on me that I was in school with one of the grandsons or great grandsons of the Hubbard family from Aunt Jenny's era, and it never dawned on me like that.
It's amazing what you realize later on.
Yeah. Oh, he was a great basketball player. I mean, he was fantastic. He was about 6'5", 6'6", or something like that. I can't even remember his first name, but he had a sister that went to school with him, and then it was John and Will White was the only two. There were only two black families that went to school with us in Haleville at that time. That was back in the 70s and 80s and early 90s.
I'm just reading chat. Yeah, Harold's doing on OCST. They're doing a live after this tonight. At 11, they're going live
Checking out the eclipse.
and see whatever else is
Out there.
lurking out there.
I've always said
that should be
I feel
fun.
like I feel like throughout my life I feel like I've been a magnet to or a sensitivity to whatever all this is. You know, I've always had things happen near and around me. Every house that I've lived in, I've had experiences in. It wasn't until, later on in my young adult life that I ever even consider anything Bigfoot. To me, Bigfoot was Harry and the Hendersons. I hadn't even heard of the Patterson Gimlin video until after I heard that audio in comparison. And I still haven't heard exactly what I experienced, but that was damn sure the closest thing to what I've experienced, excuse me.
Yeah.
Ron Riley says full moon, so Wendigo might be out tonight.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
Muggs,
and that,
I stayed on here a little bit longer than I did the last time, so I'm gonna have to get out here. I'm not feeling so good, really. I mean,
Oh, man, feel better.
Oh,
Thanks
go
for
rest.
hanging out.
Yeah.
But anyway.
get the
Hope you
rest.
feel
Always
better,
good
dude.
talking to you, David.
but y'all take care and have fun.
All right,
I'll
yeah,
see
feel
you
better.
next time. All right, take care.
Yeah, David's good people.
Absolutely.
yeah, he is.
I got to hang out with him in Alabama for a while.
Oh, cool.
He's cool. Yeah. Him and his wife and a grandchild, and we went all over his area. I was in the area, so I hooked up with him, and they took me on a little sightseeing tour. It was cool.
There you go. That's what you're talking about. Local showing you around. That's the best one right there.
Absolutely.
But
We had
like
lunch
Stevie was
and-
saying, she never heard the exact one that she heard before.
Mm.
And a lot of people say that. I'm like, well, think about it. If I do a yell what's the chances if you hear every other guy yell, it's going to sound the same?
It's
Right.
true.
Very true.
I kind of look at it like that.
Like everybody's got a different voice.
Yeah, well,
Pretty
I mean,
much.
the two screams that I experienced were different. There were a lot of similarities, but you're right,
Mhm.
they were different. There was a few differences in them. I mean, one being that it was just right behind me. That made a huge difference, but there was still that guttural but female aspect to it, but a guttural deep. It's hard to explain. I can't find the words to explain it properly. I never have. It's just something you don't experience. You can't experience.
Papa Craig says the damn snowstorm better clear up by the eclipse time, or I'll whine, I guess.
I hope it does for you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be cool.
Right?
I'm hoping it's still clear out. It was clear earlier.
Yeah, actually. it
Yeah,
was
we
last
just got
night,
hit with
too.
snow like mad like 30 minutes ago and it's still going.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this storm that's brewing now. The next couple days, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, it's supposed to possible heavy hail and tornadoes and just sustained like 50-mile-an-hour winds. You know,
I heard something about that. Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be nasty out. So anybody that's in that area, that impact area,
Be safe.
yeah, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and everything over this, just be careful.
Start melting snow so you have water and get ready.
Well, no, there's north of that, there is a snowstorm that's supposed to. It was weird. I listened to a YouTuber, Brian Hall, y'all. He's a weatherman, meteorologist, whatever. But when he comes on, he usually comes on during like emergencies when there's tornadoes and stuff. But he's got it down where he could tell you what street that tornado is going to cross and when.
Oh yeah,
He's
No kidding.
It's
Swear to God, dude.
unbelievably-
But he was saying, he's like, yeah, we got possible hail, sustained winds, tornadoes, and a blizzard, and just like threw the blizzard in, like it was just like, it's like what, and a blizzard?
And
Fuck.
I know, right? All that
Just
is
one of those things.
One of the above.
And here it's going to be 80 something and sunny.
I know. Almost makes you feel guilty.
It's gonna be a long time. That's midsummer for me. I'm at the house is sitting at 5,100 feet above sea level.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty high. So even in the summertime, I'm lucky to hit like 90.
Sorry.
You hear what he said?
You said I'm pretty high. I
He
said,
said,
me
"Me
too.
too."
And I'm in Florida.
Yeah,
No, I know about the elevation. I was in Arizona. I lived at like 3,000 feet. Hung out a lot at 7,000 feet.
that's the good part here. Like when it gets hot, like when we hit like mid 80s, it's
Well-
hotter than you think in the 80s. Because I go to Arizona and it's like 99, and I'm like, it still feels the same. But I go in the mountains and it drops like 20 degrees as soon as I.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it's like 5 minutes away, and I'm in the Frank Church Wilderness, so it's like 2 million acres of forest land. So I was like, I just walk over there, and I'm like, here.
Where do you go in Arizona?
My buddy, I have a vet buddy I go down and I do shooting competitions with and stuff. He's in Kingman.
Okay.
It's like a valley right there.
Yeah.
I can't remember the big range they have there. Has a like a big horn on it, like a big sheep horn kind of thing for their logo. Great range, really good range.
Can't remember. Yeah, I lived in Arizona for 12 years.
It's a cool spot. I don't like the bugs. I'll take the cougars and the wolves. I don't want the creepy crawlies.
The tarantulas and the
Sounds like me.
scorpions.
He
And
sounds like me.
No.
Somebody asked me one time why I would freak out over something small. I'm like, because you can't shoot it. You know, you just can't.
Dude, I went down to
step
stay
on
with
it, but you
him.
won't even do that.
No, I run.
I go down there and he's like, I'm like, dude, I don't want the or like not the caterpillars, they're centipedes and the spiders. And he's like, oh no, we have these sticky traps and stuff everywhere. They're
Sticky
fine.
traps.
Glue traps.
The banana
Yeah.
spiders here in Florida.
I'm down there with a vet bud. So say the least, at the night when I'm going to bed, I'm drunk. And so I'm trying to go to bed, and there's a centipede on my bed that's that freaking long. I'm like, oh hell no.
I had a palmetto bug, those giant cockroaches that fly. Come and sat down on the couch next to me the other day when I was eating dinner. Again, I'm on prosthetics. He says I levitated
Oh, absolutely.
off the couch to get away from it. I said that thing was so damn big, I felt it sit down. The couch moved.
Last time I saw something levitate was my dog.
Right
We
on the
were-
fence line.
We were at the 168, and my dog's laying right on this fence line, and here comes this big black snake right up the fence line, and I said, "Watch this!" And as soon as it got to the dog went straight up.
Jumped up. Lunged
I was
up.
like, "Holy shit!"
That was me. That was me off the couch the other day.
There.
I mean, I'm not exaggerating. That thing was easily 4 inches long and about 3 inches wide. I mean, I'm sorry. It's a giant cockroach that flies.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm good with
bug.
snakes. Like high school, I used to catch rattlesnakes for beer money. I'm good with snakes. Bugs, no. And cockroaches and those things, absolutely not.
I don't think
That's
there's
why I
any
own a
down
shotgun.
here. I know there's
Just
a lot
take
of
a
snakes
shotgun.
here. I just never see them.
I
I deal with the alligators.
keep
Yeah.
this within arm's reach.
She got the bug spray. She's got a holster for it too.
It shoots like 6 feet across the floor, so I don't have to get in any close proximity to it. Those things are fast. They fly. They freak me out. I'm sorry. I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't. No. And they don't get in the house that often.
No, but I like take off my crock and swat it and leave the crock there, and the crock starts moving.
It'll walk away with the crop.
You know they're too big when you step on them and you feel the crunch. That they're too big.
Well, you feel the crunch and the thing gets up and walks away. That's when you know.
I felt the crunch. Did it? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I said the only thing that works is that spray. That
You guys
spray
got
hits them
gators. Yes, we
instantly.
do.
Yeah, we have gators.
I think
they
I'd be
don't-
okay with gators because they're big enough. Leave them alone, or just like hurt them out. I mean, I'd be good with gators, but the rest, no.
We get small gators that hang out around here, but I've had them come by where they had hooks in their mouths, like chatterbait.
Chatterbait sticking out the side of their mouth like
Another one was
like
a spinnerbait.
a
But I pulled them
hair
out. I pulled the
accessories.
damn gator out of the water and got the hook out, threw him back in. But I've done that twice, and I'm surprised. I don't know. I do it again, but it's nerve wracking because you're not supposed to touch the gators.
Oh no, they're
Yeah.
fine. There's signs
It
everywhere
says,
that
"Do not molest the gators."
Yes. There's signs that they do
I
not
was like, I
molest.
wasn't. I swear.
It's like,
What's that?
Oh,
What
It-
happened to where they had to create signs that actually
What's the
says
big lizard you guys have? The invasive lizard? It's
there's Nile monitors here.
South
There's
Florida, there's
iguanas.
There's an infestation.
Iguanas,
of
that's what I'm thinking of.
iguanas is the big one. That there's more iguanas than anything. But we got
Temperature drops, they fall out of the tree.
tegus, Nile monitors.
you guys got pythons like mad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
those
that
things
is
are
how-
Built in where we're at.
Yeah.
That's southern Florida. We're
okay.
central. But we got the some invasive fish species here in our lake, like armored catfish and tilapia.
Oh.
I'm sure there's some others in there, but
Hey, Jess.
You hunt
Good to see
gators,
you.
right? We don't hunt gators.
Wait,
no.
no, we don't have to. They're just here. I mean, at the marina that he works at, they get up 10 feet.
I saw one
Big.
today.
Oh, God.
They're dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, I've seen 9-footers
They're
around my
dinosaurs.
marina.
They come right up to the edge of the dock.
I saw one today, and it just briefly, and it went
Did you?
down. I walked out. I was like, "Oh, which one
I
is
just
it?"
said the other day I hadn't seen them in a while out there. All them big fish that were dropped in. That's probably why.
I saw a gar today.
Oh.
A needle nose gar.
Out here?
No. Let me talk.
But I'm asking.
It was
out there?
dead. It was
Oh.
at the marina, but it was sitting like a torpedo. It was perfectly up and down, looked like it was swimming, but it was dead and it was just floating. It was bizarre.
I saw one out here yesterday evening, that was huge. The biggest one I've seen. It reminded me of the size that we saw at the springs, at Blue Springs. It was giant. And there was 4 smaller ones swimming along with it. But that thing went by like a submarine. I was like, where's the end of it? I mean, it was huge and fat. I think that's what's been splashing around, because I watched a few minutes later, it went splashing around over on the what I call the pool. There's a shallow area on the bank over there. But yeah, that thing was a monster. Dinosaur fish.
Ron Riley says, I think it was Ron. It said, what's a good time to visit Florida? Good month.
I'd say March.
March, April, because then it starts to get
early April.
warmer.
Yeah. Late February to early April is probably the best time.
You guys don't get the heavy rains in Central. That's more southern, right? In spring.
No. We get rain. Summertime, it rains every day. We get a thunderstorm every day.
I don't know about every day, but
just
close.
about. Just about. Depending on where you're at. But yes, it rains a lot. We get a lot of rain.
The last hurricane that went through, that was eye-opening. I don't know that I'd do it again. Yeah, I would. But it was
as long as it's not
it was
stronger than, say, the category 2 was what they were calling for coming through here. If it was any stronger than that, yeah, I don't think I'd consider staying.
Christy said I couldn't live in Florida. It's funny. I always said, fuck Florida. I would never go to Florida. Here I am.
Well, then you have the mosquitoes and the no-see-ums, and there's always something nuisance out there.
Oh,
You
I hate no-see-ums. Those things suck.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. No, they're worse than mosquitoes because they hurt when they bite.
Yeah, and they leave.
With a mosquito, you feel the after effect. You never know there's one on you until it bites, and then you start itching. No-see-um bites you, and I don't know if anybody's ever seen one. You Google it and look at an up close.
Looks like a
picture.
little blister.
They have teeth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have teeth, and you feel that bite when they bite you. That's what you. Yeah, it hurts.
And worse than that are the fire ants.
Oh, the red ants, fire ants.
Oh, yeah.
That'll ruin a day.
Yes.
Knock on wood.
I had to move my camp one time because I set it up, had my hammock tent all set up and everything else, and fire ants came in. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been jacked up from fire ants.
there was a short that I watched the other day, and I don't know, it might have been OMG Wicks, but they were talking about, you see a sand pile in the middle of a grass field, stay away from it. Florida's nothing but sand mostly, but if you see a dominant sand pile in the middle of grass,
Don't
just
touch it.
don't go near it, because the second you disturb it, you're done. There's no escaping.
There's ants everywhere.
Everywhere. Thousands of them.
But on that note, we're going to get out of here. It's 2 hours already. That went by pretty quick.
That did. Sparky, good to meet you, and so glad you're coming to hang out.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, anytime, man.
I put the
was a lot of
link to your channel in chat. I'll do it again.
Thank you so much.
Check out Sparky's channel.
It's dumb.
Okay.
I say that all the time.
It's what I was going to say.
It's the same shit all the time. We've been doing the same thing for 5 years. It's like, come on.
Yeah, but what makes it cool is when people like yourself come and stop by and hang out. And
Yeah, we've been supporting other people's channels forever.
This is what we encourage.
Jim, we'll see you Tuesday. Sharon says, have a wonderful weekend.
That's right. It's Thursday. Huh?
Yes, it is.
Oh, the furry baby. He's Shep, and then I got another one under my desk. This Strider. He's a shepherd, and he's a Newfoundland. Newfoundland,
right
how do you
on.
say it? Yeah,
Water dog.
pretty much.
Yeah, I got a shepherd. She's around here somewhere.
She's
She's
on
on
the
the
couch.
couch.
Looking up.
I
on
love
the-
shepherds. Oh,
Spoiled bitch.
Yeah, me too.
buddy. What's your bird? Come here.
I don't know if you can see it.
Do you want to come here?
She's on the couch.
It's dark over there.
Yeah, come on. There you go.
I just looked up and got dizzy because oh, look how
Oh,
pretty.
pretty.
Right?
Right on.
He's an old fashioned.
How old?
Just 2.5.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Puppy.
Baby.
She's
Yeah.
10, 11.
She's
Scratching away.
11. Yeah.
Hoax, how's it going? Jess, good to see you. Glad you guys stopped in, but again, we're about to shut this down. I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. It was great to see everybody. David, it's good to see you. And Sparky, great to see you.
Definitely. Thank you.
It was on Texas channel we were hanging out, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, me, you, Dwarf,
Yeah.
and somebody else.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
sitting
It was
next
just
to
like
you.
last week or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting there eating dinner.
Right, but
I was. Sitting right next to him.
I see those opportunities like Texas, like, oh, if you want to come on, I'm like, where's the bandana? Now I gotta get ready.
Pretty much.
Anyway. All right, dude. Well, we'll see you again, man.
Definitely.
All right. Again, thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Have a great night, man.
You too.
Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this tonight. I did.
I did.
It was fun. I mean, we talked a lot about things we've already talked about, but
But it's always
it works.
interesting conversation.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wendell, what's up? Good to see you.
Wendell.
So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, please hit that like button below. Show some love. Leave comments. Share it. If you're new, subscribe.
Indeed.
That's about it.
Be safe. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you guys take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. We love you. Peace and God bless.